Hello, everyone. I haven't seen anyone utilize the 5 to 7 minute video response on our discussion boards yet, so I figured I would break the ice. I sometimes like talking more than I like writing, so let's get into it. Obviously, cognitive function plays a huge role in our development of who we are. I had a really great time reading through the Facilitating Growth of the Lifespan by Richard D. Parsons. And as I was reading, I was just kind of reflecting on real life examples that I have in my own life right now, where I work with kids who have autism from 1 to 10, as I've mentioned in class before, but they are just like a constant real life tool of learning for me. And then I have my nephews who are ages 1 through 6. And as I'm reading, I can just kind of see things like emotional regulations and things like gaining independence and just finding out who they are and self-confidence. And I just thought that was all really interesting. And I love the timing of the fact that I'm working with kids while I'm reading this. As far as my own personal life goes, something that really stuck out to me was in chapter 10 when Parsons is talking about the management of the children's emotions from parents. I believe there's 3 steps or 3 different ways that are concepts that people use to help manage their kids' emotions and just like outbursts and things like that. One is the power assertion that parents will try to take over their kids, which is basically, it can involve physical punishment. And I think this is where things like beatings and spankings, that we all probably grew up and heard before. It falls under that category. And then the next one is psychological control, which is basically the withdrawal of affection from a parent or being put in timeout, which I'm sure, again, we've all probably heard about or maybe experienced. And the third one is the induction type of management, where basically the parents, take time out of this scenario and explain to their child, like, hey, this is why what you're doing is wrong, and this is how we can work on you doing it right. And this usually involves the parent coming alongside the kid to be able to help them figure out how to do it right, because they're still learning, So in my personal life, my parents were super young parents. They had me when they were in their early 20s. And so I think that they utilized all 3 of these concepts for me and my brother. I have a brother who is 4 years younger than me, and our temperaments are so different. He is the kid who would have tantrums all the time and would usually see more of that power assertion method, where he would get beatings and spankings every now and then. And I think me as the older kid, my temperament is different, and I just was not getting in as much trouble as him. But I did smart talk, and I think that's where my dad ended up taking on more of the induction type of management. And I think once he found that works for me, that's what he kind of wrote out even to this day, where he will, sit me down and explain to me what I did wrong. One day I came home and I had a really bad grade on my report card, and he sat me down and was like, education is very important, and this is why you got this grade, because instead of coming home and studying, you're going outside and you're playing basketball with your friends and you're walking around the neighborhood and doing this and this and that. You need to come and you need to read more. And so in order for you to do that and achieve these grades that I want to see, I'm gonna, take away this much time of TV, and we're gonna substitute reading with that. And that, obviously, as a kid, I hated it. It hurt, but it ended up helping me in the long run. I think that one of the ways that I would use that way of being brought up and basically helped and disciplined in my future as a counselor is that I would explain that, kids want a safe place to go to all the time, whether they do something good or they do something bad. And I think that the induction type of management kind of makes sure that like their parents are that safe place all the time. even if they're doing something bad. And so we don't want to have this cycle of like, if I do something bad, my dad or my mom spank me, or if I do something bad, my dad or my mom won't talk to me, or they put me in timeout. It's different, I think we can still maybe utilize those two concepts with the induction type of management put together, paired with it. So, it's different when a kid does something that's wrong, and you yell at them and you say, and now go to your room, or go in timeout, and whatever. I think that's different than keeping the same temperament and not getting angry and going, hey, honey, we're not supposed to do that. This can cause harm to you, or it can cause harm to another person. And because of that, I'm going to need you to go take a break and think about what you did. And so it's using the power assertion, but also the inductive type of management, if I'm understanding these correctly. So I think that's something that I would explain kind of to the parents of the kids that I counsel, or adults that come to me who are wondering about parenting. And then also, I know I'm running out of time here, but the last one that I would also mention, I do behavioral analysis therapy. It's in chapter 11 in the chart that is talking about different treatments for autism. And that's definitely something that I think is really important. And I think that the parent training for autistic kids is really important, because if they take them to people like me who do the behavioral therapy on them, or they take them to an occupational therapist or a speech therapist, all of those things are great, but we can only go so far. And so the parents need to also be trained on being able to reinforce and apply these techniques and these things that we're teaching their kids at home. And so if I ever have the opportunity as a counselor to be able to help a parent do that for their child, I definitely would. So yeah, that's 7 minutes I've gone over, but those are my thoughts, and this is all really good stuff. So I'm excited to go read everybody else's response. Bye, guys.